What's up everybody, Noah Chase with HPW coming to you with part 2 of this video series. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, go to the comments section, click the link and watch that video. It's going to make this video make a lot more sense. So in the first video, we have a home for sale, sells for $350,000. The mortgage was $200,000 and the sellers netted $125,600. In this video, we are going to find out how we use this $125,000 net in equity to buy a new house without having a contingency on your offer to purchase and not having to sell your house before you buy. So let's get started. We don't need the net amount on this anymore, so we're going to erase that. Okay. How do we use the equity in your home to buy a house? Through Town Mortgage of the Carolinas, our in-house mortgage lender, we've come up with a program called Equity Edge. And the first step of that is to get a HELOC, or a home equity line of credit. So we're going to talk about what the fees involved with that are, and then how much money we can get an equity out of the home, which we had $125,000, how much we can use towards the purchase of a new home. I talked to the local mortgage lender, and you can borrow up to 90% equity from your home towards a HELOC. So we're going to multiply this by 90%. That comes back to, that's $315,000 is what you can borrow on. We're going to have to subtract what our mortgage is. So you can borrow, in this example, you can borrow $115,000 in equity from your home towards the purchase of a new home. Now we're going to go over the fees involved with doing a home equity line of credit. Okay, so we are borrowing $115,000. You can borrow less, you can't typically borrow any more. Okay, so the fees involved are about $250 in bank fees. We have to do an appraisal. It can be a drive-by appraisal. If this number is less than $250,000, we can typically do a drive-by appraisal that costs about $150. If this is over $250,000, you're going to want a full appraisal, which costs between $400 and $700 depending on the appraiser. Okay, and then the last is how much the fees you're going to pay on a home equity line of credit. The rate is based on the prime rate. Prime rate right now is 3.25%. This is the lowest you're probably going to get. You also need to take into account your credit score and your loan to value on the loan. So in this example, we're going to use 5% for the interest rate. Okay? The fun thing about home equity lines of credit is you're only paying interest on this loan. You're not paying any principal back, so it's just the interest. We got to find out what that is. We multiply 115,000 times 5% comes back to interest is $5,750. That seems like a lot, right? That's the annual amount. We're not going to have this loan for a whole year though. We're going to have it for a very short amount of time. So we're going to divide this by 365 to come up with a daily rate. The daily rate, if we divide these, comes back to $15.75. Now this is where having a really good realtor comes into effect, because you don't want to be paying longer than you have to on this home equity line of credit. Okay, you need to open the loan when you go under contract on the purchase of your next home. That's when it needs to be opened, right? And it can be closed as soon as you sell your house. So there's a lot of dominoes. You need to have a good realtor in order to figure out where the dominoes go. You go under contract on your home, the home should be pretty close to ready for sale. Let's say it takes 7 days to get the house, your house, on the market, okay? Let's say it goes under contract in a week, and then there's another month for closing. So we're going 42 days this needs to be open, okay? Total. 42 days times $15 comes out to $708.75. Okay, so if we add this, plus this, $400, where total amount is $11,0875. That's the total amount you're going to pay for this home equity line of credit. We're only going to have it for 42 days, and this is going to allow you to not to have any contingencies on your offer to purchase for a new home, and you're not going to have to sell your house before you buy a new one. So thank you for staying with me. I know it was a lot of math. That's a little dry sometimes, but in the next video, part 3, we're buying a house. We have $115,000 that we just pulled out from the bank, equity from the home. We are going to be looking at closing costs on the buy side and what you can expect. So I hope you stay tuned and be ready for part 3.